Hey traders, Raghee here, and let's address what we have today, which is a pretty significant sell-off. Now, let's talk about how we measure what a sell-off actually is and whether or not it's significant. And that starts with the broader averages. That starts with taking a look at the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and even the Russell. So when I take a look at the typical ranges we see here today, was the Dow in meltdown mode with a range today of 891 points from top to bottom? And the answer is yes. In fact, this historical price movement range is really what gives us an idea of whether a move is really something that would be considered a meltdown outside the norm. Normal price action any day of the week, in the probability of 68%, we would see about 2/3 of the time, the upper end of that range for any day of the week is 700 points. For today, it's about 580, 575, that area. So we definitely exceeded that. What about for the S&P, for example? Did the S&P exceed that same level? So any day of the week, anything over 80. Today, anything over about 65. So when I take a look at the S&P, so this allows me to understand truly, without any drama, without any hyperbole, what kind of day did we really have? Today's range, as you can see, was a whopping 90 points. Why whopping? Take again a look. 10 points above the upper end of the typical price movement range any day of the week, and certainly well above the 65 on the upper end of today, Monday's price action. So if I've exceeded that type of movement, I'm going to be a little bit more careful in terms of once we've exceeded that. I know that we're outside the normal probability of price action, and the probability of more predictable price action actually goes down with that. So we want to be much more careful and patient. Now, one of the markets we talked about last week was the Russell. And the Russell had a good sized candle, but what is that candle of 53.8? Where does that land? And we bought the Russell last week on a visit to 1600. It was where we were looking to start building a long position. And with as you can see here, let's go back. You can see today's candle, 53.8. Did we unleash the Kraken in the Russell? Not really. Not really. Certainly above today's typical price action, but not really above the upper end of what we could see this week. So the Russell, to me, is still holding its own pretty well. And there were a number of stocks and sectors that did the same. XLI, again, caught my attention, as did a number of stocks within the XLY, consumer discretionary, like Nike. So I get opportunistic on days like today. Today is what I endearingly call a blue light special. Today things are on sale. Not all things, and not all things that are lower price are necessarily on sale. We want the things that we wanted. We want to buy the things that we wanted before they were on sale. Right? That's the smart way to do it. So that's what I do with a day like today. In the premium video, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into some of these price movement ranges and specifically the watch list that we've built, mostly in some of the heavily weighted ETFs of our broader indices, but also in some of the individual stocks. And if this kind of analysis is something that really appeals to you, okay, Rog, yeah, how do I play offense on a day like today? Well, then come join me on Wednesday, this Wednesday, the 28th at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to walk you through the ETFs are easy as 1, 2, 3, because the idea here is to play the watch list that the market has curated. It validates those curated watch lists of the ETFs, these sectors. They're validated and guaranteed attention and volume because they're ready-made and the market's already keeping an eye on them. So I'm going to walk you through how I use options as a supplement and it's really a connected type market to the futures trading. So if you're already a futures trader and you want to dive deep into why they move, the individual stocks and sectors, you're going to love this. If you're someone who said, Rob, futures aren't my thing, but yeah, I love stocks and I love stock options, and you're telling me ETFs give me ready-made watch lists, I'll explain all that on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Super stoked to do this. This has been something I've been doing for many years, and I think you're going to find just how easy it is to create a watch list of names that you know are going to move in a more predictable manner than randomly picking things out of some sort of, relative outperformance that may not really be relative. Okay? All right. I'll see you in the next update.